Hey there guys, welcome back to Texas Beer Reviews, and on this episode we will be looking at another can of Hops and Grains Greenhouse IPA. So just reviewed one, and I do believe it was an off can. It was way over carbed and it tasted a bit old and stale. I'm not sure how old it was at the moment as recording this. Hopefully I'll find out pretty soon. But anyway, so this one has nothing on the bottom. The last one I had was Bravo Cascade, listed as batch 48, and it had a 004 out of 16. Thinking that hopefully it wasn't from April because I picked it up recently. But I also picked up this one as well. And anyway, real quick review about the stats of the beer. It's 7.6% ABV. And 55 IBUs. That's listed on the just general check-in on Untappd. For Greenhouse IPA, basically what they do is every month they brew a different batch and they use different hops for the dry hop schedule. So it's always kind of different. They're up into the 50s, I think, now. Like I said, I don't know what batch this is. I don't know what hops they use. But at least if it's recent, we can kind of just observe the beer in general. I've had some differences with the beers for the different hop, or differences in the beer, I guess, with the variation of hops, but not vastly different to really make it seem like a different beer, but some subtle nuances there. Anyway, let's go ahead and check this out. Hopefully this can is good. I have had Greenhouse IPA quite a few times. Just I don't know what batch it is, so go ahead and get into it. Let you know what I think. Let's find out. Okay, so here we go. This one is definitely normal as far as carbonation. Okay. So as you can see, pours out a big hazy, sort of a mango peach, kind of apricot, slightly orange. It's not even slightly orange, quite a bit orange. Hue, and it's got a kind of a nice frothy white head to it. Yeah, pretty white. But nice and hazy. It's like what I like to see out of an IPA. So let's go ahead and check out the aroma. So it smells very clean. I'm picking up some slight tropical notes, some mango, some citrus, getting some grapefruit, some piney notes, a bit of dankness to it, and this kind of spicy, sort of almost like I want to say rye-like character, but kind of the spicy kind of quality. But smells pretty good. Smells a bit unique. So let's go ahead and check out the taste. Cheers. Okay, yeah, so that's a bit better. Wow, so this is very clean. Definitely noticing two big things that there's really no lingering bitterness on this at all. And honestly, I'll get into that second. As far as the flavors go, I'm getting some hints of some stone fruit, a bit of sort of like an unripe apricot, but without the acidity. I'm getting some hints of mango. Very same thing, kind of like an unripe mango, but without that acidity as well. None of that tartness. Getting a very clean, kind of a pillowy malt build to it. It's very, very bright, slightly honey-like. A bit of a citrus character to it. And some pininess, but really the flavors are very subtle. I mean, I did pull this out of the fridge, but really they are very subtle, and this really reminds me of actually some of the Treehouse beers, in a sense that those beers are very subtle. I mean, you get kind of those juicy kind of notes from it as well. I'm probably not so much here in this beer, not as intense, but that very restrained bitterness. I mean, there's really hardly any bitterness to this at all. That really kind of big subtle quality is what it's kind of reminding me of quite a bit right now. I actually don't usually get this out of this beer at all. I typically get, a bit more of your standard kind of, big citrus, pine, dank, kind of a West Coast type style, but with a lighter malt bill. Usually not too kind of that dark caramel malt bill like you see from some West Coast stuff, or a lot of stuff around here even. But yeah, on the mouthfeel too, it's very soft carbonation, very, very full. And very pillowy too. Yeah, this actually is really reminding me of some of the Treehouse beers that I have, or have had. Just, I want to say, not as intense on the tropical character, but it's not too far from it. I feel like I'm picking up almost some pineapple now, but very subtle, a bit more citrusy. But yeah, the mouthfeel it's interesting. The carbonation is low, sort of like those beers, and it's very pillowy. It has a fullness to it at first, but then it feels almost very light on your tongue, and just incredibly easy to drink. And there's some lingering bitterness, but it's very mild, very, very mild. It's really not building so far. I'm drinking this, but I have never had this from this beer. Now, I don't know when this was canned. I don't know the date on it. I don't know what batch this is. I wish I did, but as I poured the rest of it, here's a lot more sediment coming in. But I mean, you can see. I mean, this is really, really hazy. That really looks like New England IPAs. So interesting. I don't, never really had this from this beer before, so that's kind of cool. But definitely tastes way more fresh compared to the last can I just opened. But yeah, I wish I could recommend this exact batch, but I honestly have no idea since there is nothing on the bottom of it. Anyway, as for rating, I'm going to give this can. I'm going to give this can a 4.25 out of 5 stars. I feel like it's not quite there. I think it's more probably closer to 4.2. But round up. It's very reminiscent of the New England IPAs, which are, I love that, that really bright, juicy, tropical character to it. That kind of low carb, full body, easy, super easy drinking style of IPA. It's not quite there, but it does remind me a lot of those kind of beers. And this is definitely, I think, my favorite batch of Greenhouse that I've had. I would like this to be a bit more intense, a bit more of that tropical character. There's a bit more flavor, but for what it is, I think it's fantastic. I would say I'd recommend this, and buy whatever recent cans you find. If it doesn't have anything on the bottom, maybe you're getting this batch and you can have the same greenhouse batch that I'm drinking. With all that said, if you like this style of IPA, I would definitely recommend it, and just try to find this can around as best as you can. But with all that said, I think this has gone on for a bit too long, but Anyway, that's pretty much it for this review of Greenhouse IPA. I'm glad this can was good. So, with that said, think global, drink local, and cheers.